Did it just aggressively announce that to everybody else? Okay. All right, I suppose we can go ahead and get started. Hi, I'm Marco Cabrera. I'm the co-leader of the SSC, which is the Student Support Council. And what we're focusing on is how we can support the cycle of students, teachers, and parents, because that's what we need. Our group is a little bit unique in the sense of we're kind of a PTO. We haven't made that final step to become the 501c3, but the students actually are in charge of running everything that they do. So we find lots of little things to work on throughout the year. And I have a short list of things that I would love to work on. But if we could go around, I think everybody knows each other, but if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, that would be awesome. And you're allowed to pass as well.
So I'll start. I'm Sarah Paya, assistant head of school in the middle school.
My name is Erica Walsh. I'm the head of school at the high school.
I am Stephanie Slonick, and I have an incoming 6th grader at the middle school.
Excellent.
I'm Bridget Blanky. I have a high schooler, 9th grade, Dylan Blanky.
Excellent. All right. Now, I don't have a formal agenda tonight. I sometimes, as I become a little more functional throughout the year, I do have those posted ahead of time, but we're going to follow the general structure of these meetings. So let's go ahead and step into, Sarah, if you wouldn't mind starting, we're going to start with the middle school's update.
Sure thing. And Marco, when you say the update, you mean in regards to projects or what we've done in the first week?
Yeah, I think it's really good to clarify, particularly with this meeting being our first one of the year. I would love to hear anything about how it's going in the beginning of the year, if students are seeming to connect okay, if you've got projects going.
Yeah, it has been a wildly positive first week since, especially compared to last year. So last year, our students were in these like little groups and no one could really interact with each other because of contact tracing. And it was just, I felt like we were on lockdown within the school. And this year has been just so much better. There's just so much more connectivity, and everybody seems like they're gelling at a much more rapid pace than a year ago. So we've spent, last week kind of reviewing Greenspire protocols, introducing Greenspire protocols. Like I said, spending a ton of time connecting. And today we did some testing. Tomorrow we'll do some more testing. We'll have to do that 3 times this year, which is that's a lot. Normally it's twice, but there's a lot of data to collect in regards to the learning gap from last year and a half. So that's where we're at. Our project kickoff is tomorrow. If there's students around, I'm not going to say too much. It's called Game On. This project, I think, is our 3rd time repeating. It is a total favorite. All of the core classes are involved. And I'm like trying to find the right document in front of me, but I didn't get it together in time. But in science, they're learning about adapting. They're doing some argumentative essays in language arts. I can't remember exactly where the math components come in, but every subject will have standards involved, and it's basically, it's about survival. And there's a level of competition, which kids love. There's a level of dystopia, which they also love. And it's sort of like a choose your own adventure, but so they make some choices according to the story, and then they either get marked down or they do well, and then they try to make some adaptations. And some of their adaptations will not succeed, as we have witnessed on our planet. So that's all I'll say, but it's a favorite and everyone's very excited.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Gamifying learning. Took it away. All right, I see we had Michelle pop in. Hi, Michelle. Just so you're clear, we are recording, just so you know ahead of time. All right. Are there any questions for Sarah before we move forward? All right, Erica, you're up.
Hi, everyone. So the high school, it is, it's interesting. I worried so much about this week, all summer. I lost sleep over it because I was, it's hard to start a new school, especially a high school, but the students have been amazingly flexible and kind and respectful and sweet to one another. So I'm just supremely impressed by the student body overall. It's difficult to start at a new school in its, inaugural year. There's so many unknowns, but I think they've been awesome about it. So it's been wonderful. As far as connection goes, what we do every day for lunch is we take all the students outside and we sit on the southern part of the campus together. And so the staff and I kind of look for students who might be by themselves eating or what have you. And so we've been able to connect a few students during that time who maybe haven't built any friendships yet, things like that. So everybody was sitting with someone today. So that was great. And even last week too, there was only a couple students who I had to kind of nudge a little bit last week. Something I have noticed over this last week is students dealing with social anxiety and struggling with it. I think it's just due to many students were homeschooled last year. Many students did virtual last year. With COVID-19, it's just, it's hard for them to deal with a lot of psychological, challenges that we never had to deal with as adolescents. So I think we're just seeing the result of that coming through in some social anxiety. So we're trying to just continue to create a positive environment for them, and be supportive in what they need. If they need to exit the classroom for a moment, if they need to go to the bathroom, whatever they need to do, we're supporting that. The staff did a lot of team building last week, and it shows definitely. So I'm really excited that we took the time to do that. And this week is when we're starting testing, NWEA testing, as well as the bigger projects. Our exploratory courses, those we've done a lot of SEL, social emotional learning, and we will continue to do that as well. The exploratory course, the purpose of that is to figure out which pathway is the one that you're most interested in. And we also have a social emotional learning component within that class. And that meets 4 days a week. The two big projects are in our humanities. Our big humanities project is building our own library because we don't have one. So the students will be building our library, not the staff. So that'll be an exciting project. And then we will also our STEM project will be mapping our school grounds at NMC. So that will be exciting as well. And then the last thing is student council. We met during orientation, and then we had our first formal meeting today, and 18 students attended, which is awesome considering we only have 65 total. So yeah, it was a great percentage turnout, and they are applying for their officer positions this week. We'll be approving those applications on Friday, and Monday we will start campaigns and go from there. So it's pretty exciting.
That's amazing.
That's it. Yeah.
On the social anxiety bit, I have to say that I know I give Math and Alex like infinite flexibility because I'm in my early 40s with a ton of years of therapy under my belt, and social anxiety is still a thing right now. So that's really great. I think the first thing I heard Kevin say, who was Robert's predecessor, when we were considering coming to Greenspire, is he said, academics is not our top priority. The emotional safety of your middle schooler is our top priority. And it sounds like you're stepping right into that, like what I epitomize Greenspire as being. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, as parents know and educators know, a student cannot learn if they're in a state where they don't feel safe or they're in a state of fear. They physically cannot learn in that state. So you have to ensure that they feel safe and comfortable in order for them to even learn and for their brain to process information. So it has to be a priority.
Are there any questions for Erica? All right, we'll move forward then. I fear you're gonna have to suffer listening to me for the rest of the meeting then. Actually, the way these meetings run, it is totally okay to speak over me or ask questions. I want this to be a place where parents feel like they can come to and ask these questions. I know some of you are new your students are new, if you would like to set up and connect with someone in like a mentorship type thing, just so you have someone specifically to reach out to, feel free to send me a message or email me. I'd be really happy to work with you to set that up. For this upcoming year, the things that I would like to touch on. Actually, before I start blathering, does anyone have questions for me or what we want Student Support Council to be or how we interact with the school? I'm happy to get any of those questions out of the way.
Margot, I did want to thank the SSC for all the painting of the high school this summer. It's beautiful, and just thank you to the committee for doing that.
Yeah, I'll pass that on. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of help come out. It was great. All right. This is also a really interesting year, something that the SSC also has never had to deal with before. We now have 2 schools. We're a single district, we're a single board, which means that we've got 2 schools and still 1 SSC. So we have this great opportunity to speak with 2 staff members every meeting, but we also want to make sure that we're paying attention to both schools. Things I have listed on our website. I'll actually post the website in the chat here. You have access to it. I do try my best to keep this website up to date with the meeting details, what's going on, and hopefully before the day before it's supposed to be there, you'll see information up here. But on the homepage, I have a list of things that came to mind as things that we could address, would like to address. And we do have many of the ideas we would normally put forward for this type of committee are things that we don't need to do because the students own so much, which is great. But we're always welcoming of ideas. So we have the yearbook, which we'd like to do in both schools. The co-leader of the SSC, Kat Eldred, she was responsible for the yearbook last year. There was a lot of learning to have happened, and this year what I'm hoping she can do is work with a person or 2 to do the yearbooks for both schools. And while she's teaching someone else to do it, we can actually create like a playbook so that next year we don't even have to teach someone, we have it written down and handy. I think that's going to help make everything a little bit smoother. Teacher appreciation for both schools. There is an official teacher appreciation week. But you'll see by the next bullet point, if you're looking at that, which you might not be, I could try to share my screen. There we go. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So teacher appreciation, this is something that I would like to prepare for in advance. And I realize that doesn't seem like it should be a novel concept, but I feel like so much of what has happened, particularly with last year, has been kind of by the seat of our pants as things were allowed to happen. So I would like to have our committee really come up with something fun to do for our staff this year. As I stated first thing in, it's really important to me that we find a balance in supporting the staff as well as the students, as well as the parents, because every single piece of that triangle supports the other pieces. Coffee and tea for teachers and staff. For the past couple of years, the SSC has tried to support the staff by delivering coffee and tea once a month. And we just frequently get a large bag of ground coffee from Higher Grounds, some different teas. So that is something that I would love to have organized to continue working throughout the year. Having everything on my memory is terrible for everybody. So that's why I like to get that out there. School events, this is of course still up in the air. We all really, really hope that COVID was completely behind us by now, but it's not quite there yet. So with any luck, we can really take advantage of supporting some school events this year. Officially setting ourselves up as a PTO. I don't know if anybody knows this. I read up on it a few years ago, and really the difference between what we're doing right now and what a PTO is officially filling out the paperwork to become a 50c3 nonprofit organization. That's the big difference. But what it allows us is a means to actually raise money for the school and keep accounts separate from the school, which gives us a lot more flexibility. If we were to raise money now for the school, it would be specifically going into the general fund, which we actually don't have control over. The budget is set away from us, you know. Let's see, what else is relevant here? SSC Communications and Outreach. I assume since all of you are here, you are aware that we have a website and or you have participated in a Facebook group or you are on the mailing list. I just like to have this as a topic to bring up because the biggest challenge I have consistently is how do I make sure I'm reaching out to people and connecting with people. It feels like if I make 5 posts on Facebook, I still have someone posting directly after, like, why didn't I know about this? So those are the avenues I have right now. I welcome any suggestions and ideas, and I welcome any support of someone who'd like to participate. In case you're curious why my co-leader is not here right now, she and my wife are currently driving back from Wisconsin from a yarn show. So I'm solo. I think this bullet point right here really kind of goes with what we are capable of doing based on school events with COVID. We always have to be a little bit creative in how we can support the students because they do so much. For instance, in the past, there's been a Halloween event and the kids love it. They do everything. Really, we just need to be there to be adult participants to make sure that they can be supervised appropriately at the time. So there's little events that we can do, but we have to be creative on how we can help. Oh yeah, I put that on there as a hope and a dream. I would love to come up with a way that we can consistently pull off a fundraiser for the school. I know that before COVID, there was an event that was put on at the school that had nothing to do with the SSC, but that was awesome. And there was oh gosh, Sarah, you might have to help me with this. It was a fundraiser with local foods. There was coffee bags, local fruit. Are you able to tell, like, I just want to have that idea out there and I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm blanking it. There's so many nonprofits that have like local and food in the title that I'm like, it's not Taste Local Difference. It's, I'll think of it.
Okay, it'll come to you like right after we get off the phone. Honestly, these are the big pieces I wanted to actually make sure that we talked about and said out loud. This group can be so much. I personally, I have a lot of fun doing this. For those of you who don't know, I'm also on the board. I actually was on this committee before I was on the board. So, priorities. But I continually see what this school is doing. I see what the staff is putting in. I see the amazing things the students are doing. I'm really excited to be able to give back. And what we're trying to do in this committee is part of that excitement. So I guess from there, I'm open to questions if anybody has them.
I have a question. How, as a first year student family, how many people do you usually see that are active, a little or a lot?
Last year was incredibly disheartening, and for all the good reasons, all the reasons we would expect. Usually in this first meeting, I see up to 15 people, and it slowly dwindles throughout the year. I would say on average, we have 3 or 4 parents that are consistently the ones that assist. I would love to bring that up, particularly now that we're supporting 2 schools.
I also feel like with Zoom, it should be a little bit easier to gather people. Like, this is more acceptable, and it's also, quite frankly, so much more convenient for everyone. I'm not sure if it went out, I don't recall, in Robert's newsletter this week, but I just wonder if it's getting enough promotion. And maybe Marco, you can speak to that. If you feel like it's getting enough.
Oh, the newsletter?
No, if you feel like the Student Support Council is being promoted enough, I feel like maybe it's not, but maybe I'm just not catching it.
I can speak to that. I only came across it completely accidentally when I was looking at the toolbox this morning, and luckily it was tonight. So I feel like I've been kind of trying to pay attention to a lot of things that were happening, and information that was coming through. And part of it too, though, I didn't know what SSC was, and I only clicked on that kind of by accident, to be honest. So,
Okay, that's good to know.
I mean, that's
very
just
good to
my,
know.
Yep. But you did click on the toolbox, which makes me very happy. You get a gold star because we've been promoting that toolbox. Like, come on, go to the toolbox. So that makes me happy. But I do feel like we need to put more air in that balloon for the Student Support Council.
Yeah, I was delighted just to see it in there. So that made me happy, but I love and would welcome anything else that we could be doing to get people to understand what we're doing. Hopefully
Marco,
get some people
I'll
excited.
include that. I'll include that next month in I do a weekly, like a Sunday night, just like Robert does a little newsletter. So I am sorry I did not put it in on Sunday yesterday. I will do that in the future.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
I saw it on your Facebook post. And then the letter that went out, it kind of mentioned it, but it didn't, like, until I clicked on the toolbox, I didn't realize it was a Zoom meeting. So I was actually at the school, and then at 6:45, I'm like, there's nobody here. So I went back in and I clicked on it and realized then that it was a Zoom meeting.
Oh,
So nobody else is there missing it though. Nobody else is, just
I'm glad you mentioned that. I can attempt to be more clear in some of my communications there. But I'm grateful that you saw it and you came. I'm glad you're willing to show up to the school for it. Yeah, here I just link out to our site. So, oh, also on this page, I did include the information to the various other ways of getting there. I love it how you unintentionally use the word there 5 different times in a sentence, meaning different things. Let me use English. I included the MailChimp and the Facebook group links here so that if you would like to sign up, you have clear access to do that with the one link. I know that in the toolbox, this is the link you're going to find, and that's pretty awesome. Throughout the rest of the year, we're going to have this meeting once a month. We do it on the second Monday of every month at 7 o'clock. I will attempt to have this website up to date. Let me move this out of the way so I can scroll up. And once you are at the site, if you click on meetings, you'll actually see I've got the dates coming up, the idea of the topic once it's decided, and links to both the Zoom call itself and the meeting details page. So that's kind of how this is going to work. Next week, I'm running the main topic of the next meeting is internet safety. This is something I like to have parents really be aware of. It's something that students are facing every day. I'm sure most of us are now too. And particularly knowing there is a chance, hopefully we don't, but there is a chance we'll go virtual again. COVID's not solid. So this is an opportunity for me to help people understand some of the things that are actually quite dangerous about the internet, things that are good to know. I actually just shared a post on our Facebook group the other day about random bits of information that you share on the internet, not realizing that they're dangerous. And that made me realize, oh yeah, I need to make sure to bring this topic up again in the SSC. I should probably do this annually, but it'll give us the opportunity to talk about internet safety, what that means, what you can do at home. So that's what the meeting's going to be. So I guess if there are no other questions, and I'm happy to wait, we can end early. Yes, Michelle.
I have a question. So I'm assuming that because of COVID, that is why they didn't do lock this year. Is that the case?
Yep, that's a safe assumption. Lock is actually coming to the Greenspire Middle School in October. I want to say maybe the 12th, but I could be off by like a week. So they're actually going to come and do a bunch of team building with the students in different groups, and we'll collaborate with them and kind of talk about themes and goals for that time.
Okay, cool.
That's
And
amazing.
then are we planning on having the haunted forest at this point or no?
So one of my electives, which gets which actually begins tomorrow, is a student committee that will plan the fall event. It will be the haunted forest because students are already talking about it. Generally, events are student-led. And so, I don't like to throw it out there because I want anyone to bring an idea to the table, but I mean, I can already hear a lot of murmurings about the haunted forest. Last year we had a Halloween party with a lot of restrictions, and that was great. It was a good substitution. This year, I'm sure it'll be the haunted forest, but I'm trying to be open to whatever.
And then I guess my only other question really is, I know this might sound silly, but what are we here for? Like, can you explain to me what us as a group meeting here right now, like, what are we here for the kids to do? Like what is our purpose? Just so we understand.
Oh, no, that's a really wonderful question. When I first stepped into this role, that was the biggest question I had, because what I had done in the past had really been about helping plan events and organize students to do these things. Well, the students run all of that. So what we have done in this group is, how do we support the students in all of those invisible ways? And things I listed earlier in the meeting are things like, we can make sure our staff feels appreciated. We can make sure that when the students want to run an event, that we actually have enough people there to allow them to do that. That's really been the extent of what we've been able to do recently. But like I said, in the past, we've done fundraisers. The SSC and some of the staff are the reasons that a yearbook is coming out every year. That's what I've got so far. And I welcome ideas. I would love to be able to do more. As Erica mentioned, this summer, we were actually able to help paint the high school, getting it ready. I thought that was really exciting. So I hope that helps. It's not like a direct mission statement, but it'd be great to get there too.
I can say on behalf of the middle school staff, we really appreciate your support of the community. All the coffee and tea has been fabulous in terms of supporting students, definitely promoting events. And this is now on my radar enough that, we start planning this event in October, there may be supplies needed. Probably one area, which is always this fine line, is we need a little bit of a snack pantry, but not so much that we have a whole, like a lunch production that we are organizing. So like, for instance, a few students did not bring lunch today. They thought maybe it was the first day of pizza. And so I had some power bars and I had some go-go squeezes. So that sort of thing. We have a drawer and I think I cleared it today. So like little things like that would be helpful. I think that's all. Those are my ideas. And just like event promotion is great too. Like we're having a Greenspire 101. The middle school is in end of this month actually. And so just like getting that out there where we want parents to come and really understand project-based learning. So attendance is helpful for that.
Yeah, being available to fill in the gaps of the students need us. That has actually been, it feels like there's a lot of time we're kind of waiting. We can do things while we wait. But when the students need us, they really need us.
I agree with Sarah as far as having a snack pantry. We have contacted the TCAP STEP program in order to provide some pre-packaged foods that we can have, on a shelf for students for those occasions when they forget their lunch or there might be food insecurities that exist. So that would be a great support mechanism. And also coffee and tea would be nice too at the high school. So, and then I know you mentioned in the agenda about establishing a 501c3. Is this a goal for the group? Is this something that is, or is this going to happen?
Right now, I would say it's in the goal area.
Okay.
I would very much so like to make it happen, but it's going to come down to time and how many people we have.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something, Bridget?
Yeah, on the on the PTO thing, like you said, it depends on time and number of people, but like, do we know yet, like what needs to be done, or like, do we know
I know
like steps or like what roles people can take to help make it happen? Or
I have a pretty shallow overview of what that would look like. And I think the first part of if someone is willing to work with me to make that happen, I think the first part is really going to be to sit down and iron out, here's exactly what we need to do. So we have a very clear path to success. I'm really a big fan of time-based goals. There is an acronym that is completely gone that everyone tells me, but it's okay. So yeah, I would like to look at that process, identify the steps we have to make each individual step a goal that we hit sequentially so that it's organized, we know where we stand the whole time. I say it depends on the amount of time and people, is mainly because I don't want to commit to it and then have myself be the only one available.
okay. So is it fair to say then you're just looking for people to step up and contact you to say that they'll help out or want it if they have any interest in it?
Yeah, thank you for
Okay.
calling that out. I did not in any way say that clearly at all, so I'm really glad you
Okay.
said that. Thank you.
Okay.
I would love to have people look at these things, come up with ideas, step up and be like, I'd like to own that.
Okay.
And I am happy to help anybody make those things happen and work with the right people and make sure that we're not, overstepping on students' toes or anything like that. So I'm really happy to help be that connector person.
Okay. And then as far as like the yearbook and I don't know, like the coffee and tea, for instance, is that something that we're looking for people to donate those things and then bring them to the schools? Or is it just delivering it? Like, where is it coming from?
What has happened in the past is we've raised money and I have a consistent order at Higher Grounds. With Kat's business, actually I have a business account there too. We can get a really good deal. We can get a 5-pound bag of coffee for around $60, and that lasts quite a while, even with the amount of staff we have. So that's how it has been. We've also had we have had parents drop in and bring like a box of coffee from Big B or whatever it is. The main purpose behind it is really, I want to make sure our staff feels supported. But if you have $5 to contribute towards a generalized thing, then we can just continue that route and make sure that we've got high quality coffee coming through a good place that's local. But there's no wrong way.
Sarah and Erica, sorry, Bridget, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just clarifying. So it just sounds like a lot of these things are just, if somebody has an interest, they just need to contact you and just say that they're interested to get the ball rolling, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm happy to work
Gotcha.
with you to come up with any detail you need.
Okay.
And I was going to ask Sarah and Erica, as far as the snack pantry goes, if there was a donation, I would go to Sarah and to Erica. Who would I go to with donations for those two campuses?
You can certainly come to myself or Robert from the middle school end.
Mm-hmm. And myself or Lisa at the high school.
All right.
If we were to drop them all off at the middle school, would they just be dispersed?
So
Would
we
that be
actually, we keep them in a file cabinet. And then as we learn of students that we think or know are food insecure, I tactfully approach them, or we just have a radar of noticing the kids aren't eating. And just, it's one of those things where at one point, a lot of kids that didn't have any food insecurity heard that we had special snacks. And so we would hear kids say, don't even worry about it. They'll just feed you if you tell them you need it. So we have it very tactfully organized so that we can find kids that are in need and provide them with something to help get them through the day.
And if I were to bring like 2 boxes, one for the middle school and one for the high school, if I just brought them all to you, would you guys be able to get them to the high school too? Okay.
Yes, you would just need to label each each box. And then as middle school staffers come over, they just bring the items to the high school.
And it sounds like you've got it, but if you need a delivery person, I'm literally at both schools twice a day. So, all right. I don't know if you have my contact information. It is available on our website, but please reach out to me for anything. If you scroll to the very bottom, I'm not lying to you, it's on here somewhere. Oh, there we go. It's on the right. It's covered by Zoom stuff. So you can see there's information how to reach both Kat and myself. Feel free to reach out at any time. We're happy to help. And thank you all for showing up. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.